reads here that once there was this man who had two sons. So it say one day the younger son came to his father and said, "Father, eventually I'm going to inherit my share of your estate. But rather than waiting until you die, I want you to give me my share now." And so the father liquidated assets and divided them. And a few days passed, and his younger son gathered all his wealth and set off on a journey to a distant land. Once there, he wasted everything he owned on wild living. Say he was broke, and a terrible famine struck that land, and he felt desperate, hungry, and in need. So he got a job with one of the locals who sent him into the fields to feed the pigs. Said the young man felt so miserably hungry that he wished he could eat the slop that the pigs were eating. And he felt that no one gave him anything. And so he had this moment of self-reflection, and he's questioning himself in the situation that he's in. And he's saying, yeah, what am I doing here? So back at home, where at least my father hired servants and had plenty of food. So why am I here starving to death? In verse 18 reads, and it said, and the scripture said that he got up and returned to his father. And he said, Father, I have done wrong against God and wrong against you. For I have forfeited any rights to be treated like your son. But I'm wondering if you would treat me as one of your hired servants. And so he got up and returned to his father. So the father looked off in the distance and saw the young man returning. So he felt compassion for his son and ran out to him. And he hugged him, and he embraced him, and he kissed him. And verse 21 reads, and the son said, Father, I have done a terrible wrong in God's sight and in your sight too, for I have forfeited any right to be treated as your son. Said, but the father turned to his servant and said, quick, he said, bring the best robe that we have and put it on him, and put a ring on his finger and shoes on his feet. And so, okay, and it said, because my son was dead and is alive again. So he was lost and has been found. And so they had this huge party. And so what today scripture, well, what the title of today's scripture is, there a stewardship in relationship. Stewardship in relationship. And so when we normally think of stewardship, yeah, we think of tithing, which is that would be referring to the book of Malachi 3:10, where it says, bring all the tithes into the storehouse. And so if we was raised in about the church, then we all heard that one form or another. But it says here that tithing is a part of being a steward. But however, but it is more than that. For stewardship is defined as is a careful responsibility managing of something entrusted to one's care. And in other words, it's managing and caring for things that belong to someone else, like a manager or an agent or an overseer. But however, biblically, yeah, we're talking about a Christian type of a steward. And so this is referred to as the practice of selflessly managing everything that we have. And so this includes our talents, our time, our money, our relationships, and our health for God's glory. And so within this scripture we were just reading, it is a story of a young man wanted to leave home from his father. But we're not sure why he wanted to leave home. Maybe he left home because he felt like that he's grown and he's old enough to go live his own life. So technically, where the young man was asking his father for his allowance, for his inheritance, and so the father, did what he did and gave him his inheritance, and he sent him off. But as the story tells on, that the son, thought that, whatever thought that was in his head about, what it is to make it out there on his own, that he found out that it was worse than how his father, it was actually treating him inside the house. And so it got so bad to the point to where he was working a job that was too less for him to even afford, even I want to say decent food inside his mouth. And so what do we get from this lesson here, particularly, is we understand that the steward, being the steward from this young man's point of view, is realizing his relationship with his father. And so him understanding that he had a better living situation with a relationship with his father more than he did when he was trying to go out and do things on his own, and he found out it was more harder than what it was. And so most of us, don't understand that, God can bless us through, stewardship. And this part of the stewardship is about you learning your relationship that you have with someone. And so understanding that even though, this relationship was about him just being a son to his father. And so, where to any children that's, I want to say, being disobedient to their mothers or fathers or, their parents or guardians, I do want you to understand that when you are being, I want to say, submissive to your adults, then you are valuing your stewardship with your, parents. And so, where the Lord will honor you for doing that. And so here, this young man didn't realize that, he had it way better off being at home with his father, even though his father may tell him what to do and tell him to clean up his bed, told him to go to school and do your homework. But instead he felt like because I'm older, because I'm more mature now, I can go out there and I could go make my own, stuff happen. And so as his father, released him, and his father wanted him to see for himself and understand that what you had here was way better than what you had out there. And so he didn't find that out until he got out there. And then he began to, I want to say, doubt himself, as far as thinking that now, since he came out this far, that he think that his father doesn't want him. And so, that was him feeling guilty and actually realizing that, what he did, to him, he just realizing now that he was wrong. And so when he went to his father and he said to his father that, I don't really deserve being your son, anymore, because I've acted grown. But however, his father looked at him and he told him, that I forgive you. And so with that, he had hugged him, he embraced him, and then the scripture said he embraced him, he hugged him, he kissed him, and more than that, he went and got him a robe and he put it on him, and he put a ring on it and gave him new shoes. So he clothed him again, and he, threw a big feast for him. And so the last thing what he said was this. What he said, so he said, go get the fattest calf and butcher it. This is verse 23. And so let's have a feast and celebrate, because my son was dead, which is, in other words, meaning, he was disconnected from me, or no, he did separate himself from me, but now that he is alive again, which means now he came back to me, and now he was willing to reconnect with me. And so it said he was lost and has been found. So they had this huge party. And so his father was excited that his father, his father was excited that his son had enough sense to come back home and to realize his relationship with his father. And so within this being said, God, really want us, to value our relationships, because within those relationships, just like our relationship with Jesus, when we have our relationship with Jesus, we have healing and deliverance and all these other things that we have that's available to us because of our relationship with Him. And so there's no difference between us having a relationship with our mother or our father or our cousins or our uncles or aunties. And because when we have those relationships, right, then we have all of the benefits that comes along with it. And so we want to start valuing those relationships, and we do most definitely want to respect those people that we have those relationships with. I'm going to read to you the sevenfold blessings. Number one, I speak blessings of health for you and your family. So number two, I speak blessings of deliverance from any habits that you have in your life. Number three, I speak blessings of peace to your mind from anybody or anything that may be disturbing you. Number four, I speak blessings of salvation to any friends or loved ones. Number five, I speak blessings of comfort to any person that is hurting, any person that is lonely, any person that is grieving, or any person that is confused. I also speak blessings of finances, of debt cancellation, of prosperity, and of economic empowerment to all of God's people according to His riches and glory. And number seven, I speak blessings of anointings and promotions in your life to complete your assignment to move forward in your purpose.